another day, another topic that we can talk about, about vintage stereos. So um, my previous videos about how I started collecting, vintage stereos, you know, um, what brands, I collect and I bought or I, buy. Um, the story of my previous video is about how I started, you know, collecting vintage stereos, and until I move up to Marantz, Sansui, uh, Luxman, Lafayette, Harman Kardon, and so on. Um, the thing about collecting vintage stereos, it's really it's got to be inside from your heart, because these are um, I would say like a passion, like it has to be from your heart, collecting vintage stereos. And it's not just because you want to compare yourself to other collectors out there, or want to compare your stereos or what you have to other people. This thing, guys, it's real, and this is how I you know um, this is how I started from you know collecting vintage stereos, because I do really like stereos, and I really do like vintage receivers, amplifiers, and turntables, equalizers, speakers. So it has to be inside, coming from your heart, because you are not trying to be somebody out there, and you're not trying to compete with whoever has a high level or high end stereos out there. Um, there is no way, guys. I mean, it's always somebody's better than what you have. Somebody's always have more money than you do. Somebody's always richer than you or better than you. So these are the things that you have to understand about life, and about you know um, your passion, I would say, about if you like stereos, or collecting cars, or if you like collecting you know um, vintage or modern stereos, or watches, or shoes, or it doesn't matter what it is, but these are the things that people has inside of you know inside of us, that we love to do and we like to do. And these are the things that I like to have, and I collect vintage stereos because I started when I was a young kid about um, vintage stereos, about messing with stereos. um, I always I'm always amazed about all this parts, the motherboards, the transformer, the magnets, the capacitors, the relay, the volume control, the knobs, the lighting, all these buttons, and all these amazing things inside of the receiver, or speakers, or turntable, whatever it is. So this comes from from inside me, that I like to collect vintage stereos. And a lot of people out there, guys, they do collect stereos because they just wanted to resell it. They wanted to make money. They buy it because they see other people that they buy and sell. So they want to do it. They want to copy them, and they want to buy and sell. So some of the people out there, they do it for money. You know what I mean? But I do it for um, passion, because I love vintage stereos, and I love to um, you know collect different types of vintage stereos, and I enjoy doing it. Um, I enjoy having it. I enjoy listening to it. I enjoy, you know, different types of vintage stereos, from turntables to equalizer to receiver to amplifier to speakers and even cables. I enjoy all these things, and this is why I love, and I, you know, always looking forward to what I to see what I have, and to, you know, have more and upgrade more, and, you know, um, get those um, stereos that I've never seen before. So I've seen different types of vintage stereos, and I've seen a lot of even modern stereos, and it amazed me. So um, this is just, to me, it's amazing how, you know um, all this receiver, and the way it looks, and the way they sounds. But if you ask me, frankly, what do you really like? If you ask me what do I really like about, vintage stereos, definitely, guys, it's about the looks, about the sounds, and the performance, and the durability, and the lifespan. And these are the things that I always look forward to receiver in vintage stereos. And that's, I always look when I buy vintage stereos. A lot of speakers, a lot of speakers are amazing speakers. They are good, they sound good, and they could cost a lot of money. So I always look for vintage stereos, from turntable, equalizer, receivers, amplifiers, speakers. I always look something different, when I wanted to have those stereos in my collection. So I just don't buy, anything just like that. So I always, study first before I buy it, and if I can open that stereo receiver, I would love to open it and look inside before I buy it from the owner. So buying stereos, guys, there's many ways that you can save money. Okay, you can buy stereos from the previous owner. Either you can go to Facebook Market, you can go to OfferUp, and you can meet them and see how those stereos, if they're good or not. And sometimes flea market, you go to flea market, sometimes garage sale. So there's many ways how to buy these vintage stereos, and you can save a lot of money. Like I always mentioned in my videos, that online buying, eBay, it's more money than to buy it Facebook Market or flea market or garage sale, or somebody like the owner, and you can save a lot of money. So a lot of people, guys, have more collections than me. I'm way far from them. you know um, they have more um, gears than I have, but I'm happy with what I have, and I enjoy my stereos, my vintage stereos, what I have, and I'm happy. you know I have different types of stereos, different brands, and I do love to have more. Um, like I mentioned in my previous video, I would love to have Macintosh, the Sansui 9090 DB, Aquaphase, some tubes, those expensive ones. But it's just, you know, it's costing a lot of money to collect all this, and it's not really easy to sell those vintage stereos when you have too many. I've done it before, and I do collect vintage stereos and a little bit of modern stereos, and I stack them in my garage, and I've been, selling them. And it's not that easy to sell. It takes time, a long period of time to get rid of those, unless somebody wanted to buy it like combos, and they want to pay you this amount, and you buy it and sell it, resell it. So that's a different story. But if you try to do it yourself, it takes time from piece by piece. You're gonna sell it online. It takes a long time to sell those things. So you have to hustle when you sell those stereos. You go out there and take it with you, put it in your back seat or in the trunk, and go to the flea market and make a deal, talk to people, and resell those to them, and make money and get rid of those stereos. So you have to hustle when you want to get rid of those things. But the thing about expensive vintage stereos, it takes a long time, even though you sell it online, because not a lot of people has money, and not a lot of people want to spend money, and not a lot of people wanted to buy it. You know what I mean? So today's generation, they wanted to have those simple Bluetooth speaker from Bose or JBL, etc. And they connect it to their cell phone, and they can play MP3, and they don't have to spend a lot of time hooking up those cables into the speakers. They just put that speaker on the corner and turn it on, connect it with their cell phones, and they'll play. So these are the new generations today that it's a competition with the vintage stereos. A lot of people likes vintage. A lot of people wants the modern stereos. Easy way how to connect those speakers to their cell phone, and they can play, and they can carry it anywhere they go. So too many things going on about the technology today, and a lot of technologies nowadays, they make it easier for the people to use. Not like the vintage stereos. They make it's kind of complicated if you think about it, because some people, they don't know where they're gonna connect the wires. They don't know the red and black, the audio cable cord. They don't know the knobs, the treble, the bass, the bass, the balance, and all these buttons. And some people from new generations, they get confused with those vintage stereos. What it is, what's this thing for? What is this button for? So so it takes time, and it takes years to learn a lot of things from stereo receiver, from vintage stereos. I've been messing with vintage stereos for years, even when I was in a young age, and I do have knowledge about vintage stereos, and that's where I grew up, and that's why I like vintage stereos. So many controversial, what do you call this, many things that you can talk about, about vintage stereos and modern stereos. Many topics that you can discuss about vintage stereos and all those different brands and different stereo receivers and amplifiers, and how to set up the stereos. So there's many things that you can talk about when it comes to vintage stereos. And me, like I said, I like vintage stereos, and this is how I where I grew up, and it's part of my life when it comes to vintage stereos, because like I said, my father has a set of turntable and speakers and records, and he plays there. And then when he's not around, when he goes out, I listen to those records and I enjoy listening to it. So I picked it up from him, and that's how I started. So many stereos out there that I definitely not 100% knows everything about vintage stereos. I have a lot more to learn and a lot more to collect and a lot more to buy, and a lot of vintage stereos out there that I've never seen. But I would say I'm maybe 70%. That I know and I see. I've seen and I've learned about vintage stereos, the knowledge, and the parts of the stereos, and the motherboards and all these other things going on with vintage stereos. And I do have clues, but I would say compared to other elderly out there that they've been fixing vintage stereos for a very long time in their garage or in their basement or wherever, they know a lot of things. So they are very lucky people, because they've been fixing all their stereos, vintage stereos. And it's really amazing how how can when you can fix a stereo and it make yourself proud, and it's just amazing feeling, guys. So this vintage stereos is just part of who I am, and this is always attached to me, and it will never just fade away like everything is gone. So when you love music, when you love vintage stereos, when you love receivers, amplifiers, speakers, turntables, equalizers, it's just part of life. It's just part of you. Without it, your life is not the same. So these are the things that it's really amazing when you are into hobbies like this or any other hobbies, and it's just amazing. I mean, some people, they like cars, some people they like motorbikes, some people they like collecting stereos, some people they like collecting those transistor stereos, some people they like collecting tubes, preamps. So many things they like, they collect, and it's really amazing, and it's just one of a kind, guys. So just another video here just to share with you guys about things that I wanted to talk about vintage stereos and other things, and about about yourself, part of the stereos, and the stereos is part of your life. So yeah, so another video and another topic for today that we can talk about, and I can share for some people that they get into these hobbies. They can get tips from me from this video, and it will be help other young folks out there, young kids or college students, that they just get into these hobbies, and this video might help them. So I'm just sharing my experience about vintage stereos, and that's all I'm doing, guys. So thanks for watching, and click the subscribers, and appreciate that. So I will see you again next time. Click all, and yeah, enjoy your stereos and your collections. So for now, I'll say bye bye. Alright guys, I'm driving now in their house and going in their nice big house.
Arrived.